to evade police. We don't know that at this time. But again, recapping the situation here, the 2005 white Ford utility truck and this male Hispanic armed.
Yeah, as you all know, welcome back again. This is Talk and Talk Show, where we look into everything happening around the world and how they work and why they are happening. Now we turn our attention today to chase, police chase. The behavior of the people within, of course, some of them we know there is cartel, some of them we know is crime committed and being pursued and running. So many things lead to these chases. So, but now what we are looking at is a chase at hand, what the action of the person and the police, and what we can take in, what we can take out, what we can talk about, all these things. So anyway, we are now talking about things happening around the world, how they are happening and why they are happening. Let's just do this very chase now that are going on within the police and some criminals. So
about 75, 80 miles an hour on a wide open Interstate 5 here in the valley.
So at the, you're saying he passed the 170, so he's not making the run to the 170 to the 101, he's staying on the 5. Is that correct?
That's exactly right, Steve. So his next option, if he does want to stay on the freeways, would be the 134. He could split east or west on the 134. If you head in a westbound direction, he's going to head past the zoo, the backside of the zoo, and into Toluca Lake and Studio City. Well, look at that, high speed exiting the freeway, again, trying to evade police. Tight off-ramp here as well. And these officers have already been aggressive in trying that hit maneuver and were unsuccessful, but it was challenging in that street there. These officers train for it. We see them do it right here in the San Fernando Valley, but as you mentioned, Steve, as he goes across the barrier, the island there, against opposing traffic, this is where it gets really dangerous. And now he's making his way on the right side of traffic, at least. Very dangerous situation here. Once again, a good reminder to everybody, if you happen upon a pursuit like this, you see this going on, do not try to be a hero, do not try to intervene. Entering the 5 freeway back northbound again, by the way, just stand back. If you hear the lights and siren, stand back, pull up to the side, give the officers all the space that they can use.
One of the problems here is that when he goes back on the 5, for instance, nobody on the 5 has a clue as to what's going on.
That's exactly right here, as you... And well, why not just a little bit for a moment, because I want to show you how many officers are trailing this suspect. 1, 2, 3, 4 patrol cars trailing this utility truck that has now been pursued for a good 35, going on 40 minutes now.
But we are trying to see what transpired, or what has transpired, what is also going on. We deal with live events from news media outlets like CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, and all the rest of them. And also we go and pick up stories from YouTube, just like where we are now, events that happen around the world, what we can talk about it. What we are here is just to talk, and we believe that we go talk after something.
They have something on him.
Just include yourself. Biafra C is ID. Let's watch and see what happened before I introduce that to you. We don't know what this is. I hope it's still on the same chase. But we get these programs from YouTube. Sometimes they can be mixed. But we hope this is still the same chase that we have been following. Let's see how it turns out here. Yeah, it is. It's like he stopped. It's the same car. They are approaching cautiously. They are approaching cautiously. The right thing for them to do. The man should, by this time, be completely intimidated by all what is around him. He should put his hands up and come out quietly to avoid any further, like I can put it, mistakes to be made by any one of them. We want to see how this very chase ends. We hope that he's not going to put up any fight and that the police also will cautiously bring him out and take him into detention. These are all the things that are not supposed to be happening in the world in the first place, if we act like humans. Why is it difficult for this young man to get out of the car? Why is it difficult for this young man to get out of the car? I think this dog ran out from that car.
Lights back, and they'll probably use a couple to block off some of the streets that are leading up there and just have to reroute traffic until they get there. But they'll clear up those resources rather quickly.
All right, so you've pretty much seen what happened here, and Jim Holcomb, thank you very much. And Rick, for you, this thing started, it looked very frightening for a while. We saw the guy drive through an apartment complex, it looked like, hit a gate, knocked a man over. We had a couple of pit maneuvers that were unsuccessful, and then it came to this end. We will bring in on the latest on this coming up at 5 o'clock in Studio 11 LA.
And there's more in the area. As often is the case, what they do is they bring in as many of those units as they possibly can to basically take over from the units that are being pursued, kind of keep always a fresh one on it. So again, there's 3 that we can see that are directly behind him, and there's a number of others that are in the area kind of shadowing it.
Okay.
Again, back into the number 1 lane.
Derek, hi, it's Pat. We're trying to figure out exactly where you are again. I think you said eastbound 91 from the 5 freeway coming up to the 57. Is that the location? He is really driving recklessly right now. If that is the he, Derek, can we confirm that as well?
That's right. Looks like he's getting off the freeway here. He's got cross traffic and traffic on the off-ramp. Gil, if you hear it, go ahead and let me know what street this is. He's going to be turning southbound from the 91. He's well before, perhaps a mile and a half before the 57, turning back southbound. He's going to be generally going in the direction of the Anaheim Stadium. Look at this. He's going into this gas station, around the corner, and then continuing on. He's got a fair amount of traffic in this residential street as he peels out there. Look at this. He's taking up to highway speeds. The motorists in the area have really no idea this is going on. As this person arrives, of course, those lights and sirens of the police car behind him are well behind him. And we're coming up to a cross street here. It looks like he's got cross traffic and traffic in the intersection. Let's see what they do. Slams on the brake, goes right into the intersection, right turn, and now southbound.
And cops in Orange County. Now he's jumping into what appears to be some kind of a stall. We'll go to the south side there and see exactly where he goes. There might not be an exit. See if he kind of trapped himself in here in that pickup truck. Nope, found himself an exit. So right back on surface streets. And as you can imagine, with these speeds, this time of the afternoon, a very crowded day in Orange County, this is anybody's guess just exactly how this thing is all going to pan out. Looks like, just hit another police car. That's the 3rd accident. And there's the pit maneuver. Looks like it worked out real well. And they're going to come around, hit the front end, and they're going to stop him. We're going to stay wide now as this suspect tries to get out of his car, perhaps backing up, trying to get away, hit a tree, turned around, righted that car. Now he's surrounded by cops. They hit him again. They're trying to stop this guy. They're being extremely aggressive. Yeah, they're out of the car. They've got their guns drawn. Hold your spot here. Guns are drawn. They're aimed right at that driver in that truck. They're going to do all they can to get him out peacefully. Go to your right, just get those wires out of the way. That vehicle is surrounded on surface streets here in Orange County, just below the 91 freeway, not far from East Street. Now, police officers are giving him very specific commands, if necessary, in more than one language. They'll try English. If necessary, they'll try Spanish. And they're also well-versed in a variety of other languages because this is a multicultural area here in Orange County. Now, it looks like the window is rolled down. We're going to stay wide because cops are right on this guy. We can't tell exactly if he's complying with police officers or not. Additionally, we can't tell if there are other people inside that vehicle or perhaps just that one driver. Other people, other suspects, perhaps other passengers, even a hostage. It's unclear. It looks like the windows are kind of tinted right now, and it's a 4-door pickup truck, so there may be people in back. Now, once again, we're keeping the shot a little wide because, as you can see, Anaheim police officers, they have their guns trained on this guy.
And they're trying to avoid a crossfire situation, too. You're watching as officers they're gesturing to the other officers to move out of the way in case they have to fire their weapons. They don't want somebody in the line of fire here. You see they're bringing up a K-9 unit up around the back. They're going to have to try to get this guy out. He is hemmed in, although it looks as though he could escape from the front if he wanted to, but apparently he's not going to try that. You've got officers now, several of them, with their guns trained on this suspect. He's not getting out. Maybe he can't because you've got the one police car up against the door on the left, and it appears he's jammed in on the right. He may not be able to actually physically open the door and get out. Maybe that's what he's telling them right now. question is whether if they back up and make it so the door will open, will he just try to take off? Because he certainly, this is the only way they've been able to stop him thus far. Now he's climbing out.
Yeah, now he appears to be complying with police officers. He may be trapped in there, Mark, with those cops pressed right up against his pickup truck. But the windows are down. He can get out that way. We're still keeping the shot wide because we don't know if he's going to comply entirely with cops. They're going to get him both hands, bring him down to the ground, take him into handcuffs. We'll push in now. There's the police dog, the K-9 unit right on top of him if they need him. And looks as though officers have been able to check the inside of the pickup truck. They don't appear to be too concerned. It doesn't appear as though anyone else is inside. So this short pursuit that began somewhere near Buena Park, Anaheim, and Fullerton has come to...
Well, this ended up fine. Well and good. And if you're just joining in, this is my station here, Nwachukwu Emmanuel, coming your way from my studio here in Germany. And this is Talk, and Talk. That's the name of our program. And here we go in to look into all forms of news and see what we can take from them and what's discussing about them.
I said that it's not our fight. It is our fight. And without our leadership in building a coalition to destroy ISIS, it won't happen.
This was clearly an act of war, an attack on one of our NATO allies, and we should invoke Article 5 of the NATO agreement and bring everyone together to put together a coalition to confront this challenge.
Nobody had guns but the bad guys. Nobody. Nobody had guns. And they were just shooting them one by one. But if they had guns, if our people had guns, if they were allowed to carry.
As I've said all along, bringing people into this country from that area of the world, I think is a huge mistake. Because why wouldn't they infiltrate them with people who are ideologically opposed to us?
I wouldn't invite the Syrian refugees here. I will oppose them coming.
The Paris attacks prompting questions about the Obama administration's plan to allow more Syrian refugees into the United States. Overnight, Alabama Governor Robert Bentley taking a stand against it. He released this statement saying, quote, "After full consideration of this weekend's attacks of terror on innocent citizens in Paris, I will oppose any attempt to relocate Syrian refugees to Alabama through the U.S. Refugee Admissions Program. As your governor, I will not stand complicit to a policy that places the citizens of Alabama in harm's way." A grieving Paris is returning to business today under very tight security measures. The country's stock exchange opened this morning just a couple hours. There's a first chance to react to Friday's tragic events as expected.
Now, the Americans don't want to take in the Syrian refugees, but the Europeans are taking them in. Is it right? Is it wrong? It depends on who you are and what you are thinking or what you are seeing. The whole situation might evolve to. Well, Syrian refugees. Now, one of them have been. It's sure now that one of the attackers in Paris came as a refugee and associated himself with the thing that happened in Paris. Now, Donald Trump said if there were guns there. Yeah, it depends on when you started thinking about the world as a failure. When you started believing that we have failed. When you started thinking about all these stories, then that is when you talk about if there were guns there. Why should it be gone anywhere? If you are thinking normal like human beings, if we have not turned to animals, what do we need guns for? Those terrorists themselves have no reason to even acquire guns. But that argument cannot be made today because we are a long way from where the problem started. It started a long time ago when we believe that there are some certain things that are new normals, and that those new normals continue to grow till it became normal. Today we believe that there is no way a world can be without war. We believe that there is no way we can live here without fighting, people killing each other. That is why we believe that there is reasons for us to defend ourselves. We made it that way, and we are going to live with it. Of course, we are living with it. The notion that problems must continue, that there's no way you can do without having problems around the world, is a wrong one. Because we know that everything starts with time. Today, we can see a lot of things happening in life today. That is why we are bringing in this program. We are asking, how did it get to this? Who failed us? In a situation where you have a bad child, you start thinking about the family, the parents. How did it come to that? How was that child brought up? But in this situation, we are talking about a failed world. Unless if you don't believe that the world has failed. I don't know what you call happiness. I don't know what you think the word was supposed to mean. I believe the word supposed to mean humanity. And humanity has exceeded its borders to what I see today. If you have a bad child, the parents have at least 70% responsibility of what a child is, of what your child becomes. If we have a bad world, our leaders are responsible, 70% responsible of what our world has become. You might not be comfortable with that statement, but it is reality. But at the same time, we don't really need to blame these leaders of today, because they are following the ways, if we should call it, what rules the world, the policies that have been made, that have been laid down for humanity today. That's why the leaders follow those policies, and at the same time believe that they want to make a better world. And that's why their statements are contradicting them, because of the policies we operate today in life. And of course, what people believe is the reason in the carnal than the spiritual. We believe in what we can do for ourselves than what God can do for us. At the same time, we believe we know God. People don't know what to believe anymore. Meanwhile, I will set you up with this CNN while we try to get other things done, so that you can listen because we will always come to make our own reasons.
And they're moving their huge aircraft carrier, the Charles de Gaulle, into the Persian Gulf, and they are saying that more will come. Raids, 150 around this country alone. Plus, they're saying that this ISIS threat will not be eliminated without a ground force. So they're saying that the Russians and the United States now need to get together with a joint strategy for Syria. There are two strategies at least, Russian, US, and any number of other strategies on the ground. So there needs to be a joint strategy. They need to upgrade their ground forces like Peshmergas or others. So that's what they're saying.
Let's talk about the raids that have been going on around France. They've found some incredible things. A rocket launcher has been reported to have been found. Why 150 after the fact? Why aren't they doing this routinely before an attack?
Well, look, there's so much complication in this regard, and you've been talking to special forces and other people who really know. For instance, there are places that they don't go. Some of the banlieues, some of the neighborhoods, they just don't go. These raids today, the French authorities are saying, are not directly linked to this investigation, but they are on people who are so-called known to the authorities. And they have found arsenals, the like of which shouldn't be in ordinary civilians' houses. So
their
this is an
disposition
issue.
is very interesting. I mean, Christian's been hearing a lot of the same things I am, which is 150 raids. True. Have they done that many before? Yes, they have. But in the same locations, the same level of penetration, the same level of coordination? No. Why? It's not about their understanding and perception of the threat. A lot of it is political might and capability here. There's a lot of resistance to doing what is very common in the United States and other places, and that they said the reaction of finding a rocket launcher in an apartment was, well, of course we'd find them. We never really look. Why wouldn't they be there?
People will be shocked. That's what the authorities are hoping right now. The president...
French people specifically.
That's right. That's what I mean. The political dynamic may shift. The French president is holding an extraordinary session. We would call it a joint session of Congress in Versailles. He is expected to tell the parliamentarians in both houses that this nation is at war. The prime minister again said the same thing today. He's now at a school, as schools are opening as usual on Monday, with the education minister, and he's saying we have to be vigilant, a whole new ball game. And he's also saying, and this is crucial for the French people, that this could happen again. We know that they are planning more attacks. It could, and even the Prime Minister of Great Britain, David Cameron, from Turkey, said, it could have happened to us. We thwarted 7 terrorist attempts in the last several days and months.
Often it's political hyperbole. We are at war. It's not. It's the reality. It's also very operative language here legally, because this state of emergency...
I'm Lara Barnett at CNN Center. We want to break away from our anchors in Paris to get to the French Interior Minister, Bernard Cazeneuve, who is addressing the media right now with updates on what's taking place. Let's listen in.
As for house arrest, I indicated 104 against individuals who are particularly of interest to our services. And this last night, throughout the whole of the national territory, the police and the gendarmes, with the support of our centralized intelligence services, carried out 168 administrative searches in the houses of individuals suspected of various things, and these seizures, investigations and arrests have enabled us to speed up our research, our investigations into the radical persons, and to use all the means we have, and so the state of emergency is showing its efficiency. These research took place in 19 departments, in Paris, in Toulouse, in Marseille, in all the major urban centers of France, and no territory in the Republic has been overlooked with regard to maximum alert, where the police forces are working under my authority. for the information of the public, I can give you a first account of these actions. 23 individuals were arrested and put in custody, 31 weapons and 19 weapons and a number of military weapons were seized. A number of drugs were found, and hard drives and portable telephones were also seized in order to be examined. As an example, an object was identified, or someone was arrested in Rome who was suspected of being radical Islamist and drug dealing, and this allowed us to discover a collection of about 3 automatic pistols and ammunitions and the investigation was carried out in the house of the parents of this person, and a number of automatic pistols and ammunitions were discovered, and military rocket launchers and military clothes. And this investigation is continuing. As you know, there may be links between bandits and terrorism. All the elements which were found last night were useful to dismantle these bandits, these gangs, and possibly terrorism. This is only the beginning. These actions will continue, and the reply from the country will be broad. It will be total. Those who attack the Republic, they will be caught, and we will be merciless towards them and their accomplices, to those who have helped them and those who have indoctrinated them. And as the Prime Minister said this morning, we are mobilizing all the means we have to expel radical Islams, to put in house arrest those who have to be, and to search the houses of those who are particularly suspect. Ladies and gentlemen, given the terrorist barbarity and the war declared against us, there is no other possible attitude. There is only one possible attitude. That is that the one which France adopted and which the government is applying rigorously, the implacable response by the country against those who want to destroy it. Terrorists will never destroy the Republic of France. It is the Republic of France which will destroy them. Thank you.
There you have it, the French Interior Minister Bernard Cazeneuve giving a summary of the multiple investigations and raids currently underway throughout the nation. I'll just summarize some of what he had to say there. There have been some 168, what he described as administrative searches or raids, and he's saying that has helped turn up a lot of evidence, hard drives, mobile phones. He said that military clothes had also been found at a number of these sites. He said there were 23 arrests and a number of weapons, including a rocket launcher found, as well as drugs seized as well. He says all of this is helping speed up anti-terror efforts, and he mentioned there that no territory in the country is being overlooked. All of this taking place simultaneously to the multiple air raids, the French-led airstrikes in Raqqa in Syria, the de facto capital of ISIS. So Bernard Cazeneuve there giving an update on what French officials have been up to as the country itself mourns. In fact, mourners filled the famous Notre Dame Cathedral Sunday for a service to remember of the Paris terror attacks. Ben Wiedemann has more on the service and how Parisians are choosing to honor those who lost their lives.
The bells of Notre Dame toll and toll and toll for the dead. The trauma of Friday night's multiple attacks still all too raw. With soldiers on guard outside, a special service was held in this ancient cathedral, offering up prayers for the dead and prayers for the living. In the face of blind barbarism, Cardinal André Vintois told the congregation, there can be no crack in the foundation of our convictions. But this city, in shock, will take time to recover.
It's a terrible things for France, for Paris, and for people, for the world.
They're shocked, but not subdued.
This ceremony was just to say we are here, we support the family, the sadness of the families, and but we are not scared.
The service was attended by many from outside France, drawn by an urge to express support.
We need to stand together and show solidarity as well, to show them that they won't win. They won't win. They're cowards and they won't win.
And brought together by a sense that far too many around the world are living through the same nightmare.
I have friends in Lebanon, and I talked with them yesterday. Me about the terrorist situation, bomb there 2 or 3 days ago, and I came here tonight to pray for all the people that cannot avoid terrorism.
Prayers that hopefully will be heard. Benny, CNN, Paris.
Our special coverage of the aftermath. In fact, we want to get you now live to Antalya, Turkey, where the German Chancellor Angela Merkel is now addressing the press. Let's listen to what she has to say at this hour.
Germany. We will discuss our proceedings regarding Syria. Of course, we also discussed the classic agenda. Also, a topic was the climate as a preparation for Paris. After a long negotiation last night, our night was short. We have defined 2 goals, but we also need a lot of discussions to be prepared for Paris in 14 days. From our side, we can say that we have to, there has to be a success, and we will do everything to support her. We also spoke about economic growth. It is also important that not only parts of the world are developing, but also regarding the migration. Also, there are education challenges that we are facing. That we have to increase the access to working places. Also, economic questions, economic issues have been set on the agenda for today afternoon.
Nach wie vor nicht beendet ist. Also das ist sozusagen schon ein Thema für sehr, sehr lange Zeit.
Topic for a long-term topic. The development goals that have been passed are part of the Agenda 2030. Security of
German Chancellor Angela Merkel there speaking in Antalya, Turkey at the G20 summit, simply giving an update on her activities over this past day, of course under pressure back home to close borders in the wake of the multiple terrorist attacks in France. She, of course, has made it a point to keep them open during the migrant and refugee crisis, which she mentioned there. We want to get you back to our team in Paris as our CNN special coverage continues.
Situation. Right. One more piece of information for all of you that builds on Clarissa's point. 2 of the men who've been identified as attackers who died here in Paris were on watch lists, which means they were known to French authorities. So does that show a lapse? They say no, the French authorities. Here's why. There are so many. The threat is so big and unique to France that they say they are overwhelmed by capacity. They say it takes 30 men to surveil 1 full-time.
Which is just incredible. I mean, it's exactly what you were talking about, Clarissa. The resources involved in having to monitor those 185 people, suspects, associates that you were talking about. And that's why it's interesting to hear that this 104 number are on house arrest. I mean, that makes it a little bit easier to monitor them than to have to, I guess, have them be loose around. But that is why, I mean, that's just an unusual expression to hear that they're on house arrest. That's not how we handle it in the U.S. Clarissa.
Right, and it's clearly not a sustainable situation, Allison. I mean, putting 104 people under house arrest is a temporary measure as police and officials desperately scramble to try to work out who legitimately was actually involved in this attack and who just happens to be someone that could provide information. But, you know, there's really a lot of red flags here during these raids that have taken place, 150 raids taking place this morning. And there's a sense that not all of these raids are even about people who were connected to the attacks, but French officials are just so desperate now to try to contain this situation, to try to find anyone with information, to try to find anyone with weapons. I mean, among the weapons that were confiscated in these raids this morning, a rocket launcher. You know, this is Europe, Allison. We don't have, you know, guns and weapons readily available in the same way that we do in the U.S. So many people will be wondering, how on earth are men building explosive vests, getting a hold of heavy weaponry, rocket launchers? A lot of questions. And also important for our viewers to remember that this comes after Charlie Hebdo. This is not the first time that French officials are confronting this type of threat. They have had 10 months to try to follow up on the lessons learned from Charlie Hebdo. And understandably, there are issues when it comes to resources, but still very serious questions. How anybody returning from Syria with a criminal record is not being monitored day in and day out.
Clarissa's making the right points. There are a lot of critical questions going on here. What do you hear from the other side? From French military, you hear, we are aware of the threat. France is uniquely situated in Europe. It's a set of constraints the U.S. doesn't have to deal with. It has been given a heightened priority by ISIS, and they said it again yesterday that France is at the top of their threat list. And they have a political situation here that is different. And even after Charlie Hebdo, there was more money, there were more resources, but it takes time to build up an intelligence network and a set of policing capabilities. The biggest problem they have right now, though, is something that is uniquely French, which is this respect for personal freedom and integrity from the intrusion of government. They believe that this may have been a wake-up call.
Look, I mean, as I was just saying to Christian, when you walk around here and you see all of the signs and all of the mementos, the word that pops out the most is liberty. That is what is so important to French people. They wanted to come back out to show that liberty still exists.
But security is also part of the shibboleth, and you cannot be free if you are not safe, and that's going to be the balance they have to strike.
All right, so coming up, we're going to be talking about how the refugee crisis complicates all of this, particularly when some of the suspects had refugee status. So stick around, New Day, a special one from Paris. We'll be right back.
Terrorists have refugee status. The question is, why is it that it's Europe who are the people being called also the infidels? Not that it's the people who are calling them that the infidels are the people who are coming in as refugees, but we have seen that they are infiltrating and coming. So my question is, why is it not those countries that have the same religious beliefs, those countries that are being mocked, or their religion, so to say, are in question here? Why are they not leading the fight? Why are they not leading the settlement of their other brothers who they believe are moderate? Leading the fight is if there should be a fight at all. But in a humanly war, they are the people who are supposed to be more troubled about what is going on. The Muslims, who their religion is being pulled to mud. It's not like people denying that it's a religious war or something like that. It is certain. The ISIS has said they are doing this in the name of religion. They did not go in from another name of religion altogether, but they used a religion that is existing, a religion that have responsible men and women involved in it. Now, this is where you see the responsibility of those men and women who are involved in this religion that is being damaged. This is where the Muslims should be more concerned. Who are these people damaging the name of our religion? Why is it that it's the Christians, the people who these people turn to be infidels, the people who have different religious belief, are the people welcoming the people? Some of them are infiltrating now and coming in as the people who are calling them infidels and also all. It's complicated. If you have a gallon, a full drum of water, and then comes a cup of oil, the water cannot deny that he have a problem with oil. It's an oil water problem and no longer a water problem alone. Let's not think that this problem, because we believe our leaders are making it not look like a religious fight here. It's not a religious problem, so many people want us to understand. But the ISIS say they are doing it in the name of religion. Whether you like it or not, you are not accepting it, as that doesn't make it right, or doesn't make what it is not be what it is. It is religious in as much as that is the name they give to the reason why they are fighting. It becomes that. You can never deal with it politically. And you can also not deal with it militarily, because it's not a military problem, it's not a political problem, but it's a religious problem. It's a problem of ideology. How did they come to shift the ideas or the mentality of people that what they are doing, beheading of people's head and all these atrocities they are committing, is the right thing to do? How did they come to build up such ideology that we, who have been living in what we seem to understand as the rightful ideology of peace, cannot be able, through that same religious mind? Because if you call it, that is the problem, because the policies in the leaderships, or I don't know, the laws in the countries, has make it has divided religion from politics. That our own politicians don't want to talk about religion. They are out of it, and at the same time they believe they are godly. Some of them believe they go to church and this and that. They don't include their religion in their policies. That is why they can never get the answer to this question. When something involves anything, you have to include that which is involved in anything into anything you are doing if you want to solve the problem. It's as simple as that. You can't run away from it by saying it's not a religious problem. Why these people are coming with the name of a religion and telling you they are attacking you in the name of religion? You say, let's not let us not go that way, that the problem can be solved politically. No, it cannot be solved politically, neither can it be solved militarily. It can only be solved spiritually, and that is religiously. The way being, all those imams, all those pastors, bishops who believe they have the right message for our kids, this is the right time you come out and they start to fire back with those messages. How did the ISIS get their message on the front view of our minds, or the minds of the people who are being convinced to it? How did they get this message across to them? It's by social media, like most of us know, different methods, building up time for their people to educate them in what they want them to believe. Our governments are not educating us on what they want us to believe. All the government wants us to believe is money. They want us to believe only on GDP of a country. They move religion from their policies. The countries like Iran and others like who have religion to do with the way they run their countries are being hated because they are being demonized, also for the fact of the way they have gotten angry, according to what they will call it, and resort to killing, which is also also very, very improper. There is no way you be the judge. That is my own message to the ranks, to all those who are doing the right thing the wrong way. What I mean is doing the right thing the wrong way. It's a situation where you have the policy, your policy to deal with religion, but at the same time you get angry to take the laws into your own hand. You become the judge when we know that we shall not judge. That is what all these countries that believe in doing the right thing the wrong way are doing. They are doing the right thing by putting religion in the forefront of their policies. They have the fear of God. What is humanly right to be done in public and in secret, although there are so many other ones too that they take to extreme, especially not giving women the right to be equal. It's a wrong ideology because every human being is equal. But that doesn't mean this equality is not also right the way we see them now today being followed by the Western world. They have taken it to another level, a level where the parents don't even have control over their children anymore because of freedom of this and that, freedom to become stupid. There is things that human beings have the right to, and there are things that we should understand we don't have the right to. We have the right to be good human beings. We don't have the right to be bad human beings. The government should know this, that their citizens have the right to be good citizens and not the right to be bad citizens. So you are going to be a gardener here. You are going to guide your nations to their right to good and not to bad. Make them know that they have no right to be bad. Don't give rights that are stupid. Like we are going to show some kind of rights that we have today in life. These are stupid kind of rights. I want us to look into this kind of activities, some of the activities that are taking place in life today, and these are the activities that are, when I see them, I wonder and I ask, why are such things happening? Why do we have the right to do such things? Even sometimes, most of the things that come online. Why do we have the right to do this? That's it. This is a police officer slapping a woman who slapped her. He slapped her back. I don't know the reason why. No, this is a different thing. This is the result of our evil deeds. But I want to show you some kind of things that happen here, and the government keep shut. And these are the things that spread, and the reason why all these other Muslim countries have freedom to doing everything that is wrong, everything that leads to death, and at the same time we say we want to take care of ourselves. We are taking care of your citizens. You allow them have a place where they will drink and get drunk. Look at this. This is a new thing. Animal. These are those things we are talking about. These are life things. Animal making love with human beings. We are showing you everything because we are on talk, so that you don't say it didn't happen. These are the kind of things that the government out, they see it online. There are, don't stop it. There are licensed homes where some of these things happen. There are licensed places where you have some kind of. Now I just want to show the kind of things that happen here that human beings do. And the
just got stronger. This year, Asia's most legendary race witnessed the birth of the first ever FIA GT World Cup. This is the Sun City Group 62nd Macau Grand Prix. Are you open to the world? Mazovia, the heart of Poland. Here's the perfect place for you. A clean environment, healthy food, excellent infrastructure. The center of European IT investment. Modernity and tradition. Mazovia, the best you can find in the center of Europe.
Travel well, you focus on what really matters. Cathay Pacific, life well traveled.
Sing if your heart's out, let's light up the whole town. Voices will carry to everyone that's all around.
With CNN's On the Road, you've explored some of the world's most incredible places.
Beirut, in New Delhi, from Jerusalem, in Jordan, in Rome, in Istanbul, Cairo, here in Abu Dhabi. You hear the cheers behind us. He said if we don't pass this, the country's gone. Talk me through what goes into the chemistry, as it were, of chemical weapon. Already decisions on Scottish education, public health services and the environment. Given day, there are hordes of people here at the Colosseum. Let me push you once more on this because this is important. How big a concern should this be for not just Turkey, but the West? And this little-known national treasure, who is the biggest influence? Is it still family?
Connect the World with Becky Anderson, only on CNN.
I'm Nick Payton-Walsh in Kobani, and this is CNN.
CNN has breaking news right now. There is an active police standoff underway in Belgium. Roads have been closed. Police are using loudspeakers, ordering people out of the house. There is speculation as to whether or not this is connected to that 8th attacker who is on the run. We have CNN's Nema Al-Bagher. She's in Molenbeek with the breaking details. Nema.
Chris, it has been a very difficult morning here in Molenbeek. We've been seeing balaclava, plainclothes police officers, bomb squads, and a really, really intensive presence. Repeatedly, we've heard police over the loudspeaker ask whoever is inside that house a little further back from me to come out with their hands up. The reports we're hearing is that this could quite possibly be that 8th attacker. I'm just going to step out so you can have a look at this, Chris. You can see that very intensive police presence back there. There are reports that whoever is in that house could possibly be the man who is who has been requested by the Belgian police as part of an international arrest warrant. Salah Abdeslam. It is definitely starting to feel like all roads in this investigation, Chris, are leading back here to Molenbeek.
All right, Nema, so obviously there is speculation about this eighth attacker had been identified by ISIS and owning these attacks here. There's concern by authorities that this eighth attacker could be similarly equipped to the other 7. That means a suicide vest. That obviously adds to the caution of the situation you're seeing on the ground there. What are you hearing in terms of how broad they think now the team may have gone beyond those who were killed here in Paris?
Well, that is absolutely the sense that we're getting here on the ground. All the Belgian authorities we've been speaking to say that this investigation is far from over. You remember, Chris, it started on Saturday, went through into the early hours of Sunday, and now this is one of 2 locations. And this isn't just about the neighborhood of Molenbeek. It is also a very specific part of Molenbeek. The Reuters news agency is reporting that a man known as Abu Umar al-Baljiki, aka Abu Abaoud, who lived with his sister just a few roads up from where we're standing now, that he is the suspected mastermind of the Paris attack. We are working to confirm that ourselves, but for now it feels like that this network was tight-knit, it was close, and it all started here in Molenbeek.
Now, obviously, what we're seeing there is an extension of what we're seeing operatively here in and around Paris as well. There is a obvious consensus among authorities that this did not begin and end with the 7 men who are already gone. Not only is this about this 8th suspect they're looking for, but they don't believe the brains of the situation were taken out by the actual attack. How big is it? They keep using the phrase cellular level in and around Paris. What other organizations are at work here? That's part of the investigative intent right now. Nema, we'll check back with you as you find out what's going on in the house behind you. Let's take a break right now, and we'll come back. The U.S.-led coalition, now including France, were warned by Iraqi intelligence officials that an ISIS attack was imminent just before what happened here in Paris. Was it specific enough to drive action? Was this something that was missed? We're going to hear from a political leader here in France next.
Centuries before the Portuguese, the Dutch, and the British arrived, one of the oldest civilizations in Southeast Asia thrived. Discover it all in one captivating destination. Kedah, Malaysia, where it all began.
It's hard to think about, but every year, millions of children are bought and sold. They're forced into prostitution or made to work at grueling, dangerous jobs with little or no pay. And thousands of these children live here. Yes, right here in the United States. I'm Angie Harmon, and I believe the number of children suffering this way should be 0. 5.5 million children are victims of forced labor and child trafficking all over the world. Their childhoods are being stolen. They work in exploitive, dangerous jobs, sell their bodies, miss out on an education, and live in servitude. To help these children, we must see them. Join us and learn how you can help end child trafficking. Believe in 0 exploited children, 0 abused children, 0 trafficked children. Visit UNICEFUSA.org to learn more.
This is CNN.
Live from Los Angeles. This is the kind of place where things start.
It's a trendsetter, and it's great to be here.
By actually being in Los Angeles, our guests now come to us.
I think it's more probing because they're there, and we can really push them on certain things.
The other thing which we've been able to do is actually take the show on the road.
That's going to become an even bigger part of the show in months to come. I think people know that they can rely on us and that we're there, and that we're going to continue to stay on the day's top stories, but also bring them a fresh perspective on the day's news.
This is CNN. From campaign season to election night, the run for U.S. president can be quite entertaining.
More energy tonight, I like that.
It's got jabs, party lines.
That's just code for a partisan witch hunt.
And party fouls. And in all seriousness, with the U.S.'s position in the world, there is a lot at stake. So who's better qualified to make sense of it all? Then CNN's own Political Man, Sunday on CNN.
We begin here in Abu Dhabi, Istanbul, in Rome, Beirut. You hear the cheers behind us. I have to ask you, would you support an independent Kurdish state? Let me push you once more on this because this is important. From Jerusalem, New Delhi, Cairo. Already decisions on Scottish education, public health services. What is the women's role in the UAE?
Connect the world with Becky Anderson, only on CNN.
I'm Nick Payton-Walsh in Kobani, and this is CNN.
Because leaving home doesn't mean living less. Stay at a hotel that has the news source you trust. Stay at a CNN partner hotel.
in Babylon, and this is CNN.
Welcome back to this special edition of New Day from Paris. There is a lot going on in the situation here. There are new raids overnight here. There are new leads into how broad this plot was that led to the Paris attacks. There's new military action in Syria and Iraq by French authorities. To understand what's going on here now and what will happen going forward, we have a spokesperson for the Socialist Party. That is the ruling party. That is President Hollande, French President Hollande's party here, the ruling Socialist Party. So let's bring in Corinne Narasian. It is good to see you again. So let's talk about the status of what happened overnight. 168 raids in 19 different departments, also known as like sections to those in the U.S., parts of France. The number, we're told, is not supposed to be impressive, that this happens, that there are large numbers of raids, but the targeting of it and the types of people who are being looked at is different. How so?
Yes, this is also why we established the state of emergency, because it allows the police to move much more quickly. And a lot of people were already under surveillance, and I think because of the investigation going on now, they can link more people together. They have more information that they can act on, reliable information that they can act on. This is why all these raids are going on right now, and also we want to make sure, because there's definitely a large coordination for these attacks, we want to make sure that all accomplices and all connected groups are brought into questioning at least.
The state of emergency is said to potentially extend for 3 months currently. As you know, the people here, most are Parisian. Yes. They're coming here, they're expressing sympathy, but there is this balance, this conversation going on about security and liberty. But it does seem that, of course, at this moment in time with the shock, the new normal in terms of what you're allowed to do to defend against terror.
No, it cannot be the new normal, because we are a state of, we have to abide by the rule of law. We are a republic with certain principles, with values, and we have to find that right balance between liberty and security, but we cannot make an emergency situation, an exceptional situation, we cannot make it the norm.
Well, you know that members of your own military and intelligence community are saying it's not that we don't understand the threat, it's that we can't combat the threat. We don't have the resources, we don't have the reach legally. They want things to change.
Well, there are some things that have been voted already in terms of capacity for new methods of surveillance, especially digital surveillance. We have hired 1,500 people to increase our surveillance capacity and training them. But this is going to take some months to roll out. So in the meantime, we have to use the state of emergency, for example. But there are some legal means that have been voted on already that will be rolled out in the next few months. And we need to make sure that even with the state of emergency, the president has been very careful because there are different gradation in the state of emergency. We could use the state of emergency even to gag the media, for example. Obviously, we're not doing that. We're only doing it to allow the police to move more quickly with searches, with raids, and to make sure that we can force people to stay home that are considered a threat.
Right, and obviously that's something that's controversial also, not just on the political level, but on the military intelligence level. The idea of house arrest is not seen as sufficient. Right now we hear that there are 104 under house arrest, 23 under actual arrest.
Yes.
And to hear it from, your intelligence types, they'll say that number should be flipped. They point to this report of threat intelligence out of Iraq that was delivered to U.S. intelligence also, that ISIS attacks were imminent right before the French attack. Should that be seen as a failure to act on an actionable threat?
No, I think we're acting on everything that's actually actionable. We have to make sure that we also don't act too quickly, that we don't put innocent people through a horrific process. So we make sure that I think house arrest is a good measure because it allows good surveillance, and while they're under surveillance, we can check if they need to be prosecuted, if they need to be arrested.
Is it too slow, the process as it is right now, and that's why you have such active capabilities?
That is where we have to make sure that we stay strong on our values, on what we believe the justice system is and how it should function. It is important to respect the fact that people have to be have rights to the proper defense, that this is the rule of law. I mean, you've seen that in the U.S.
We have, but we've also seen it shift over time. After Charlie Hebdo, you had a wave of political action and new assets committed and a new mentality.
Yes.
Now after this, we'll see if that happens again. But obviously, we're going to have to see what happens in the aftermath. Right now, this is about Paris coming together. We see the crowd growing here by the moment behind us. This is still a place in shock, and they're putting their arms.
This CNN man is only trying to drag her to more measures, that more people, civilians, should carry arms. That in the thing that is their God of America. That my Second Amendment, that law that has come from above, that is unchangeable. That thing that human beings made, that human beings cannot change anymore. Let's continue.
Glass coming through the window.
When I went on the streets, I've seen 20 to 25 bodies lying on the floor.
French warplanes attacked the ISIS stronghold of Raqqa.
The U.S. was assisting with those French airstrikes.
There were raids that were carried out in Belgium.
This as the European manhunt intensifies for a Brussels-born French national.
Is it possible that groups such as ISIS would use this flood of migrants to sneak more people in?
The refugee of today may be the terrorist of tomorrow.
This fight is getting closer and closer to the homeland.
Maybe the terrorists of tomorrow. There are words that really need to be taken into consideration. And there are people who are head-bent on saying, no, it's not religious. And when they become terrorists, they will turn it to religious.
Some breaking news for you at this hour. There is an active police raid underway in the Molenbeek section of Brussels. There are reports that it could be related to the search for the 8th suspect in Friday's terror attack. That would be 26-year-old Salah Abdel-Salam. French officials say 104 people are now under house arrest. 23 are in custody after 150 raids overnight.
But as you see behind us right now, hearts and minds are in one place, remembering what happened. There's a moment of silence here and being reflected around the world. We're going to show you it and observe it right now.
question still remains, is the world doing the right thing? Not, is the world doing enough? The people ask the question, is the world doing enough to stop these atrocities? But that is the problem there. That question is a wrong question. The right question is the world doing the right thing? Are they on the right way? Are they doing the right thing in stopping these people? What is the right thing to do about stopping all these atrocities? In my place, we have a proverb that says, you first remove something in your own eye before you remove that in another man's eye. Let's also, as we go on thinking about how to stop these people in their use of deadly force, and also as everybody will notice, ideology. Their deadly ideology, religious ideology. It's not just an ideology that has nothing to do with anything. It has something to do with religion, and that is what we are fighting here. So the only way also we are going to fight it correctly is by using a peaceful religious ideology to tackle it. You can't fight it militarily. You cannot either fight it politically also. I've been saying this, and I want people to understand that. That is the basis of the failure. The wrong question being asked and the wrong ideology. Because you don't ask the right question, you keep doing the wrong thing. If you ask the question, is the world doing enough? They intend to do more by way of doing it the way they have been doing it, going after the ISIS by bombing and killing them. You can't stop this. The more you do it, the more you fire, you see that the fire splits. If you use the fire to dump into another ball of fire, what you get is split of fire bursting and flying away to different places, and this is what is happening. You don't use fire to stop fire. You use the opposite. If they are using a dangerous religious ideology, we have to use a peaceful religious ideology. It is a matter of transforming the people's mind. It is a matter of working and revising that brainwash. It is an ideology, we call it. It is not political ideology. This is a religious ideology. You can only tackle it with religious ideology. That is where I keep saying the inability for us to understand that religion is supposed to be the first rule to our, what do you call it? Whatever you are doing, diplomacy or whatever policy and so on, your religion is supposed to be your first point of call. Respect of nature. Respect. That is why I am so much against science, who completely divert this ideology of man that there is no God. That is where we lost it. That is where we lost everything that humanity is all about. That is where, when God gave up on us completely. Any promotion of the fact that there is no God is an act of abomination in the highest order. That's what you can call as blasphemy. And that very study to what the world loves most, that act of blasphemy, believing that there is no God. And the only study that's the most precious study that supports this very ideology is science. And science at the same time has done a lot of good That is why I can stay here today and speak with you. That is why we can call ourselves wherever we are. That is why we can know what is going on around the world at any time we want to know. It's science. That is also why we can move about the places at any time, in any way, by flying, by sea, by car, by train, by bicycle, anyway, motorbikes, all is available by way of science. Also today, man travel to the moon, to the space, just all the good things that science has brought to us. And this is what is blinding us. And this is what has made us accepted something that is quite blasphemous as the most popular. Once that ideology has been enhanced, this is where human being went completely astray. People believing that you can do anything and go out of it after all is just life. People believe it's all about money, and that is exactly what our governments have supplanted into our head, that life is about money. That is why the GDP of any nation is the most important. It's the only thing they look onto. Today we believe that the world is a normal thing, that there is problem here and there. And let us throw ourselves the challenge to celebrate 1 year of a world without a war anywhere around. Can we make that happen? How can we make that happen? You can't make that happen by bombing people, by retaliating, by going after them to crush them. You can't crush them. We have seen it. The more you fire them, the more you recruit them. So why are we insisting on that? Because the other way for us is a failure. You have you have failed. You lost it. But that is the only way to peace. The solution to this situation is not fire with fire. It has not been working and cannot work. The world long time ago, the times and times we know, those of us who believe even in the times of Bible, although there were wars from time to time, at least, but there were times when there was no war anywhere in the world. Till maybe as the thing continued to come, one time in a while, there will be war in a nation and it will be stopped. The war will remain. Until this time, it continues. When there is war here, there will be another war here, there will be another war here, and today it is a normal thing that there must be war every time around us. Why not us throw the challenge? The government, if you think you are building peace, I want you to focus on a challenge of having a world without a war anywhere for only 1 year. This is the step-by-step we can go in building a world of peace if we want to do it. And the only way you do it in this very situation, the people who should be more concerned about what is happening now are the Muslims. The people who should be taking more responsibility of whatever is happening are the Muslims. Not because of anything, but because of what the situation is. The people who are doing this, the ISIS and all what is happening, if you come from Al-Qaeda to ISIS and all this, from Boko Haram and all this Al-Shabaab, all of them, no matter what, they say they are doing it in the name of a religion. And the fact is that they didn't go and create another religion from the scratch. They named their fight on an existing religion. Muslim. That is a fact. Now, if this is a fact, this is to say that these people are deliberately trying to spoil, to steal the good name of Islam. Who should be more provoked? These people are trying to kill and they suffer the people, the good ones among them, who are the brothers to other Islams, to other
He's a friend of
Muslims,
CNN. He's often
who have the same religious belief? Who are the people who are supposed to be taking in this their brothers more? In this case, if there was anything, if the way about it was the war against this ISIS, I believe the people who are supposed to be doing the most fighting are the Muslim world, while the Christians or the Western world will be there to say, no, it's not about fighting. Instead, the reverse is the answer. Why are the Christians? Because they believe they have the mighty power of bombs, believe that the way to solve a problem, if they believe they are in the Christian world, although I know also it's just a matter of what they say by mouth. The behaviors, the attitudes doesn't represent it at all. Or it represents that is exactly what Christianity is all about, but it's not what exactly godliness is all about, if I should put it correctly. This is where we see that the religious Christianity and the religious Muslim or Islamism has failed us. Believing in a name, believing in an ideology of your own making, of your own creation, than believing in spirituality, which is God. Let's keep listening to what they are doing in Belgium, a standoff. And this way you think you get 8 people who have just killed 129. This is not winning anything. These people are less in population. This ISIS is a very small number of people. And every day they kill more than what we kill from them. And we believe we are winning the war. They keep pumping up on the streets of Europe today. People don't want to believe that this is a religious war going on. It's a spiritual war going on. It's not supposed to, it's not about the Muslims and the Christians, the moderate Muslims, but it's something spiritual, something religious. It is a bad set of people hanging on a name of one of the good existing names of religion on earth, trying to damage it. It is a fight, I believe, for all of us, the Christians, the Muslims. But it's a fight I believe the Muslims should be on the forefront. They are the people who are supposed to be angered. They are the people who are supposed to be taking responsibility of their own citizens, because they have one belief, even if they don't come from one country. They are one people. Although, by my own point of view, the division between the Christians and the Muslims is completely wrong in the first place. But why I'm going this way is, if to show the step where they could have been, and we are thinking about having something worked out. But in this situation where it is the people that some of these elements who have encroached into the Muslim world today call infidels, the people of the West who they found their, according to what they will say, it is their what they call it, their own beliefs too, also their way of life. We have to also examine this way of life. Why these people believe that this way of life is not worth even living. You don't need just to say, why are these people thinking like that? It is because these people think from the spiritual angle of life. That's why they are so angry. This is the fact. But being so angry also makes them also on the wrong side of the answer to the question. If you are so angry as to become the judge, what do you expect of God? This is the question here. The fact is that a very big examination should be made on the behavior of our children, our attitude, that way of life that we think is the best. Why we are not re-examining that is that we have locked ourselves, especially the people who believe in this very freedom of life in the West here, where also I am involved, is because we locked ourselves from looking at things from the spiritual angle, that there is God. If we are looking at there is God, my brother, you can see that everything we are doing around here in the West is annoying. But the fact that these people are taking the laws into their hand, some people went crazy, like this ISIS went crazy from their observation of the wrongdoing of the attitude of the West. They took the dimension of inclusion through a religion that is existing and peacefully, which is Muslim. To unleash all this devilish, all this misconception to believe, I would say, because this is what Jesus Christ said. He said, sorry, forgive them for they know not what they are doing. He said, Father, forgive them for they know not what they are doing. When they think they are doing the right thing, but they are doing the wrong thing. This is what is happening for the Muslims. But for this side, we, my brothers and sisters, I am one of you. I am born a Christian. But I see that this way of life is full of evil. It is not the way of life. It is annoying. It is sickening. All we do today, from our news we read, to the games we play, to our attitude in life, to the kind of things that is pleasure today to us, the kind of things that interest our children, the freedom we have given, that we no longer control one another. We no longer have responsibilities to one another. It is sickening. It is the worst thing that human race can turn to. And in this case, I will tell you, you have no other one to blame than the leaders. There is no one else. There is no one else you can blame in what is happening in life today, if not the leaders. It is the ways they have chosen to allow things happen in life. It is the way, the freedom of everything and everything. Anyway, my brothers, this show, it will take you to be open in your mind. When they say cleanliness is next to godliness, some people think it's about how clean you are in your skin, the clothes you wear, the perfumes you wear. But cleanliness has to do also plus your body, plus your spirit, plus your soul. At that time, you will become next to godliness. And in this very station, we believe in godliness, not Christianity, not Muslim or Islam, but ungodliness. Let's see what CNN are doing, what they're saying. It's all about catching people in Belgium, catching armed robbers, terrorists. This and that is not the solution to this problem. It is important that you stop this, but it is most important that we look at this matter. How do we solve this problem? How do we go about it? Ask the right question, not doing enough, but going about it the right way. Are we going about it the right way? Is this the right method to stop atrocities, catastrophes in the world? By fire to fire? I don't think so. We can make it work by channeling the problem to where the problem is supposed to be channeled, by understanding the name to give the problem. You understand the route to follow this problem. If you call it anything than a religious war, then you are making a mistake. If you think it will have any other thing than a religious solution, you are also making a mistake. It is a fight against the good and the bad. And this bad has infiltrated through a religion that is known. This is the fact. The ISIL, Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, Al-Shabaab, all of this movement came under the platform of being Muslims. That is a fact. We also know that they are not, like these Muslims will tell you, these are not Muslims. But they are coming in to spoil the world, not with the name Christianity, but the name Islam, which is a peaceful, recognized religion on earth. That is what we know. That is what most of us believe. That is also what some of us pretend to believe. Because here we are keeping it. There are people who say it, Islam is peaceful, but I mean the people in high authorities, they say it, we see it in their eyes, they say it is peaceful, but they don't mean it from their heart. So, what we are saying here is, all this movement that has pumped so much terrible evil in life has established this contact through binding themselves to the name Islam. It's a recognized religion. So it is now become a religious problem. It is hitting countries. It is hitting our political platforms. It is hitting our religious platforms. It is hitting our marketing platforms. This religious problem is hitting all this place. So it's a religious problem. You can't take that away. You can't say you are going to solve a religious problem politically, or you say you want to solve a religious problem militarily. We have seen that trying to solve it militarily have been failing. Instead, it is pumping fire with fire, which results to dumping a huge fire into a huge burning fire, will only result to a bomb out. Pools of fire will fly away and dump somewhere else, which is what is happening. We see that it all started from a land and is spread into other lands. Small particles are flying out because you dumped fire into fire. If you say you want to go about it political means, we are seeing the dragon and using everything. Politics has to do with power and money. That is what it has been all about. And we are seeing the challenge within countries and countries where the political means is not working out. It hasn't been working out. We see also that thing we know. When you say politics, there's something that rings a bell in your head that tells you there's something crooked about it. It's something to do with lies. Politics have very crooked name. Somehow it rings somewhere in your head, even in as much as we accept that that is a way we are being governed. But there's something goes kick. It's not so proper a way. It's full of lies. It's full of dirtiness. No matter how you play it. So you cannot solve this religious problem in any of these two ways. The only way we go about it is religiously. It is now for those people who know the counter message, those imams, those concerned Muslims, and by right who are supposed to be most concerned because it's their religion being drawn into mud here. It is now for them to come out with combination with the Christians now to show that love within one another. You win hatred with love and peace. What are we showing our children? Who are the people going in for these problems or to join this ISIS? They are our children. They are our own blood. They are our own people. How did they come to this situation? They are being brainwashed. The only way to do it is to revise their brain. We have the more capacity, we have more technology, we have more everything than the ISIL to be able to reprogram the minds of our children. This is just what this war is all about. And the people who are going to start this move are the Muslims. They know the true picture of their religion. It's left for them to bring out counter messages, to bring out counter themes. It's now for imams to bring out those messages that will make that understanding in the minds of the Muslim community. It's now for us to have a combination of the love flowing from the Christians to the Muslims. The people who understand it. It's now time for us to wipe away all this nonsense coming from Hollywood, Bollywood, Nollywood. This is not the area they are supposed to shift their intelligence to. There are more better themes to add, the themes of love. When you are talking about what is happening in life today, the experiences, the brutality, what we call today barbaric acts that we see, beheadings and burning people, it all started long time ago in the films. Now is the time those things that have been in the memory of people. People have been watching. In the 70s, you will go to films. In the 70s, you see beheadings. 80s, 90s. You see films of beheadings. You see films of burning people alive. This is the education we gave in our homes through the theater, the cinema, the things we watch, the things that interest us. It's now war films about guns and the blood that interest our children when they watch films. And you see now that even guns is allowed to become toys for children to start playing with. I have a boy. I will never allow him to have a gun as a toy. Why is it being sold? Why did the government allow such things? Why is the world not monitoring what is causing the problem in our mentality? At the same time, they say they want a peaceful world. It is a common sense something. Education, I think, has spoiled our mentality. We only think now about how things can work technically. Everything is about how educated you are before you can reason. Even the most commonest thing a human being should think about. You need to be educated. You need to have a degree before your own thought will be accepted. It's unfortunate that human being has lost track. We have lost the track.
Ounces a lot,
Right.
And they did that purposefully.
Sorry, I think this thing is not. We're having a bad network. We are supposed to be bringing you CNN live here, but I don't know how you are going to enjoy it when the speech is not flowing. But at the same time, we use this opportunity to ask you as individuals to please, it is our job now to do this, to make our governments understand that they are the problem that the world has. They are not doing it right. That is something. It's not about not doing enough. It's not about not doing enough at all. The way is completely wrong. No matter how much pressure you put there, you make more mistake. This is what is happening. This is why we see it from year to year. Instead of the war going peaceful, it's going hotter and hotter, and it's going to destroy us. But we can make this work. And we know that if you are somebody who you believe in God, you know that, yes, the time it has come to an end. Why I'm saying we can make this world is not that work, it's not because we can make the world a better place anymore. But we can be able to recognize our own people, the people who actually are human beings. It is a fact now that not everything living in this face of the planet that exists and looks like human is human. If you like, you call, we have so many. I can show you so many things that in this very online to ask you if this is a human behavior. And that is why you have pretensive kinds of sympathy that draw people to tears that only lead us to deep shit. That is why you see people, they say something when they have something from their mind. They say something that is right in these days. Somebody come out and say something right. Because the world is full of evil, he will get attacked. And you see them coming back to apologize immediately. Going on from the right thing to the wrong thing. And this is what we like. Yeah, he have apologized. Oh, he can apologize. Apologize for what? What did you think he just did? What you want him to do? Is that who he is? That is why it is important for you to stand as who you are. Anytime, any day. We are fooling ourselves, my brothers and sisters. We are fooling ourselves. We should re-examine our attitude. We should consider putting religion into the head of the policies that guide our livelihood. Our leaders should understand that there is, if they themselves believe in God, they say they are Christians, and what is your Christian life telling you? That God is more than everything. If you believe this, why are you not asking him first? That means you are not believing what you are saying. This is the area where I think and I know the countries that put religion as first in their policies are correct. And if you look deep, you will see where the anger comes from. Religion has a lot to do with spirituality. And spirituality has to do with good and bad. Immediately you are swimming in this ocean of spirituality, which contains spirituality, which is involved in good and bad. There is every tendency you have to fall to one path. Either you are religious in the good aspect, or you are religious in the bad aspect. And once you come and become religious in the bad aspect, you will be angry against other people. That is why you see these people who emerge through the religion of Islam, through the bad aspect, they are mad against people who they believe that are completely opposite. They are also even mad to their own brothers. That's why you see them killing their own brothers in their own place for accepting this thing they think it is abomination. That is exactly what is happening in life today. If you don't understand this reading, if you don't understand this pattern, any other thing you're reading, you're making a blunder. And in any other way you want to correct it, you'll be making a grave mistake. I know the answer is not going to be easy. One, because these countries, our own countries that believe, according to us, in peace, in freedom, in all this peacefulness that I don't quite see it, will never like to follow, to put religion. We have convinced ourselves that it's evil to know that we should be governed by politics and not religion. If we believe we are Christians, the Christian world, sometimes they call it, the Christian countries, if you are a Christian, if you believe that if Christianity has to do with spirituality, unless Christianity has to do with carnalism, unless that, if spirituality has to do with spirituality, as long as you're a member of any Christian organization, irrespective of your position or office, you have to know that the first thing that counts in your every day by day activity is God. And He should be number one in your decisions. Whereby this is not done, you're already a failure. That is why we see the kind of things that happen here, which we are going to show in our programs going forward through YouTube, activities of people. Then you will check to see if it's human behavior. Meanwhile, we continue by activities going on CNN, although they are not, the program is not running smoothly. It's not running smoothly, but we'll give it to you. I hope you can take out something from it.
And that creates a lot of interrogation for us.
We're told that the state of emergency will last at least 3 months to take you through the holidays after Christmas. You haven't had one, as you mentioned, since the North African war situation here in this. The question is it justified? Is it justified to extend even beyond that? First, let's talk about the risk. France is uniquely vulnerable by geography, by population, and by disposition. We know that ISIS has a target. Why do you believe that there are so many more potential jihadis here than in other European countries?
First, we have a lot of French foreign. And
why, do you think?
Because we have, we do not recognize communitarism in this country. We have also this clerical, like laicity regulation, which means that we probably misintegrate.